Welcome to the New World Compendium, the Dungeon Crawler Network podcast and your source of information here in Aeternum. And we are here to tell you all about it. Come, take a seat, grab a drink, and let us tell you all the news, rumors, and stories from this fantastic island as I mute my phone because it's been going off. I'm your host, Arcaneer. This is the first live show and the second show of the New World Compendium podcast. And I'm joined by our two amazing co-hosts, starting with the tech master, Storms Lord himself. How's it going, Storms?
It's going good, Art. Going good.
Also joining us, a first-time podcaster, also the radio voice of the show, Sivian. How's it going, Sivian?
It's going very well, thank you.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So, we are here on our first live show. And I'm quite nervous. I mean, Storms and we've been doing this for a long time, but still, since it's an all new show, I don't know about you guys, but I'm nervous. How about
if anybody should be nervous, it should be me.
That is also true.
Well, we're talking about a game we can't play, so we're nervous,
True.
right? We gotta wait.
True.
Yeah. Well, hopefully soon. Hopefully in
I hope so. Yeah.
Exactly a month from now. That's the best case scenario. But yeah,
Pretty
Can't come
close.
soon enough.
I hope so. Pretty close.
Have they given an official date?
No, there's no official date. It's just
I
November.
didn't think so.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get an official date in October, and then we'll have an whole episode just us screaming about the upcoming test.
There you go. Once we get a date, there you go.
Yeah. Also, want to welcome everyone in chat as well. It's slightly different from our other podcasts. I've actually decided to drop the chat box onto the overlay as well with this one. So thank you all for joining us in the live chat as well. We may not be able to interact with you all too much because of the podcast format, but on all of our other streams, we are all about interaction. So stick around, and hopefully we'll have a great New World community here as well. Because I'm saying that because we are on our other shows with Tales of Tamriel from the Ashes. They've been around for a long time about their respective games. And entering the New World community, I was kind of like, well, that's going to be difficult to, get to know everyone, break into. However, we've got such an amazing welcome and response over on Twitter, which is our main social media outlet. Earlier, like last week, I sent out a post asking people to, share your New World preview screenshots, because taking screenshots, that's sort of like my main thing in games. Even if I'm playing extremely in hardcore mode, I spend hours just taking screenshots. So I sent out a post asking everyone to share their New World screenshots and memories, and it got an amazing response. Everyone is so hyped. Everyone is extremely hyped about this. I wasn't expecting that. It's just so many. I combed through some of them, which we will be taking a look at here as well. But basically, thank you everyone for the warm welcome of this show into the New World community and the amazing interaction you gave to all of us.
Yeah, and thank you for all the screenshots. They were awesome.
Absolutely.
This game is so beautiful. It's one of the reasons I didn't level too much in the preview event, and I saw that because of taking screenshots, because of the extreme level of me spending time in taking screenshots, I missed some amazing places that I could have taken the screenshots of had I not been taking screenshots. It's sort of like it backfired on me.
There was just too many things to take screenshots of.
Yes.
I just spent an entire day taking screenshots.
So a couple updates before we begin the actual part of the show. Our RSS feeds are slowly going up. So we are on iTunes and Spotify at the moment. We are going to be on Google Podcasts, which gave me trouble uploading the show there. It was giving this XML error that I do not know what it is. I'll have to look into it. We are going to be on Stitcher, I don't know, Player FM, bunch of other places. I just need to find my login information to all of those because there are just too many accounts, and I will get the show on all of those as well. Except at the moment, our RSS feeds are down because I'm having a backend trouble with the website, but hopefully that will be figured out before this show even goes out. And we are doing a bunch of production updates as well in terms of music, background audio, new overlays, as you can see for the show. And those will get better over time as we move along with the show, which brings me to our other overlay screen, which is the screenshots we talked about from the response we got. So yeah, hopefully our audio listeners won't benefit much from this, but the video, the live audience, as well as the YouTube audience, hopefully you guys will enjoy everything that we, like the show on this overlay. So yeah, those were the updates.
Pull your car over, pull out a tablet, and look at the screenshots. They are awesome.
They are gorgeous. They are gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So
the way they did the aesthetics in this truly are, I haven't seen them like this in years.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this.
So there's one here. There we go. This is one of their official screenshots.
Yeah, that's right.
For this level of, I've seen, there are single player games with these graphics, but a full-on MMORPG with this level of graphics and running smoothly as well, because from what I've seen on Reddit and on Twitter, this game runs smoothly. Now, I haven't had a chance to try this on my GTX 980, which I just recently upgraded from, just before the preview event, I think. But I think this game is running quite smoothly from the comments that I've seen.
So I was running this on a 1080 and 1080 Ti. And I really haven't had too many performance issues at all, really. I mean, you get your occasional drop in frames, right, when you get into a big city, something like that. But other than that, honestly, it's been fine.
I didn't have any issues between my 20 and my 1080 mobile or whatever it was, and I had zero issues. Even in the big city, the crowded days, I really didn't have any hiccups whatsoever.
For this being an alpha or preview, whatever.
Preview, beta, whatever, right?
It's polished. It is polished.
I mean,
better than some games that are in full release.
Better, not this good. Absolutely.
There is one thing in regards to that I see. So this to me is a finished beta or finished alpha, if you will, because the level of polish was done thinking that the game would release on August. Now, because the direction of the gameplay direction of the game changed, it was delayed. But the graphics of this game I see as a finished product, and I don't think it will improve too much on that regard until the full
I don't
release.
think they delayed this because of graphics. This was not graphic delay. This, or even game performance delay. It was. You're right. The direction of the quests and the PvP versus PvE, that changed what changed it, and that little bit of delay. And I think honestly, the COVID, differences to the world made some change.
Sure.
Some delays, even with Amazon being whose it is, you made some changes because some people weren't in the office that could have been during that time. This should have been ramping up.
I think a part of it all as well is something they've already addressed is the content, right? They know they have to pour a ton of content into this game.
And a lot of creators like to be together to create. You had to take folks who usually bounce ideas off each other and not over Zoom, right?
And get them used to kind of stuff.
Yeah, and get them used to it, right? So you can do it now, right? People have to change their behaviors, the way they do things. But you can do that over Zoom if you start paying attention to it. And now we've been forced to, and you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, some companies didn't, like my previous company before I quit, they didn't really do it. They tried for like a month or two, and they were like, yeah, it's not working, which actually it was working. I don't know, they gave up on it. But yeah, it's I guess for some companies it's easy to work remotely, and for some it's not that easy, depending on how they are structured up until that point.
It's the high muckety mucks. Do they believe it can happen? No, they do not, right? Because it can happen if they say make it happen. But what you have to do is you have to get the folks who've been around forever, right, as leaders, and they want to see butts in seats. That's how they lead. If they can't lead by deliverables, they can't lead. And if they lead by butts in seats, it doesn't work for them. One person, I won't mention anybody's name, she sent out a directive. She wanted, she wanted people at their desk for no more than 5 minutes at a time could they leave their desk. And if they would, they'd be written up. And we have IMs, you've left your desk after 5 minutes, they'd notify people. So it's like, seriously? Right? I can't go to the bathroom. Ugly. Right? It's like, seriously, back away, right? Come on. I'm not going to stare at your shoulder for 5 minutes.
It's a huge culture change, right?
And
that's something that
right?
you either have it or you don't to make that culture change.
Exactly. I manage my deliverables, right? So my team of, at this point, 12, it didn't matter. Whether they're sitting next to me or across the county, I managed my deliverables, so it didn't matter. We didn't matter at all. But some people, they struggled. They had to see the people that I want to see you on video every morning. I want to see this, And eventually they made the switch. In fact, the company I'm in, they've extended it till January. I haven't been in the office since March.
Yeah,
and they've extended it to January.
I just switched companies, and the new one I'm with, they said there's going to be no travel or no office work for the next 7 months at least. Right, so it's a change, and we all got to adapt to it.
Yeah, or you don't, like Ark said, you don't, right?
Right.
It's how you want to do it. But coming back to New World, apparently the graphics folks, doesn't matter because they're phenomenal, right?
They're crushing it at home. Stay home.
They are.
I mean, it's so this is sort of a showcase for the Lumberyard engine as well.
Isn't it really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It really
I
is.
think this is the first game made in Lumberyard, although
their first major MMO. They have a couple smaller games, right?
So
like Coffee something, but
apparently Star Citizen is also made in Lumberyard as well, or rather, like transferred to Lumberyard, because when Star Citizen started development, I don't think Lumberyard was in existence.
It came out
then.
2 years ago. Yeah.
No, they rolled over to Lumberyard, I think a couple years ago, but they're running on the same thing.
Yeah, I pulled it down. Incredible. I've messed with it and I started, playing with it, but it, man, it's tremendous engine. Just their test bed is tremendous to be able to do what it's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it is a very powerful engine.
When they leased it and then took it and made it their own, they really did.
So talking back, like going back to the world, the aesthetics of New World. I'm actually gonna stop the hold on. Give me 1 second so I can stop this from auto looping, so we can actually pause and talk about this stuff on the go. When you look at it, or if you have paid attention when you were playing the game, there are so many different, I want to say, color palettes in this game. You have the classic autumn colors, right? The orange, the yellow, the sunset, sunrise. And then you have these like summer type, all green, or rather spring type, all green, all no clouds type color palettes. You have, of course, the corruption, the reds. Then you have this dark, like the exact contrast to those happy vibes. You have this dark, gritty, almost like horror movie type setting, color palette. You have I'm trying to find it. Hold on. There's this green, sort of this poison cloud type of villages all around.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They did a real good use of colors. They did.
Yeah, and the switch from one, I'm gonna call these biomes. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but
sure, yeah.
You have these different zones within a very small map that provide these very different weather types, atmospherics, and again, the color palettes. And the transition between those is super smooth as far as I could see. So you could be looking at this complete autumn setting, and then you move like 5 minutes and you are in this winter area, all snow and things like that. What I wanna bring up is, do you think, I mean, because having multiple weathers within a 10-minute area doesn't really make sense. Like, you move 5 minutes north, it's winter, and you move 5 minutes north from that winter, and it's suddenly fall again. Do you think these, again, I'm going to call them biomes, these biomes being this different, will that be tied to the supernatural power of the island, the Azoth, or do you think it's just that they didn't plan on having too much lore in the game? They just said, you know what, we are not bound by any lore or anything anyway, so we are just gonna put these amazing looking places, disregarding the fact that whether if it's, weather related or anything like that.
Didn't they say this was 20% of the map?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they're squeezing it in for the preview, and for the actual map, they'll be further apart and more transition between them.
Do we have a screenshot of the map by chance? I don't know if we do. We may not. But when you looked at the map,
bring it up.
If you want to pull it up, yeah. If you look at the map, right? I mean, you have the northern part of the map was all snow covered and very cold, but that's where your high tier resources were, right? And when you showed on the photo, there was the kind of dark, overcast areas. Those were your POIs, right? So that's where like your wolves were, your bears. So I mean, they knocked it out of the park on the color palettes of everything and the artistic aspects of everything. But only having 20% of the map, I mean, I really think, I don't know, it might be too early to tell, honestly, I think. I mean, the whole northern part of the map could be snow. Yeah,
I actually like that idea. The concept that, we had a compressed map. Otherwise, we wouldn't have seen some of these biomes.
Maybe there's different biomes. Maybe we have a desert.
Also, I just added the screenshot to the overlay, but it's not showing up. Because I added to the wrong place. Hold on. Now it should be here somewhere.
We'll get it.
We'll get there, Che.
Yeah, I got too dedicated to this. Like, the topic moved away, but now I have to actually bring that map on.
On a side note, so the fact that this was only 20% of the map, it took what? An hour and a half? Yeah,
I don't see how we're going to make it without mounts. Right.
Oh my gosh. It's just incredible. It's going to take 4 hours to get across the map.
Yeah.
On one side, I kind of want to keep it, without any mounts. Also, for some reason, it just doesn't show up in the overlay.
That's right.
Oh, there we go. Just as I said that, there it is. And now it's going to move away because I just made it automatic. No, come back. And it's going again. Okay, we'll just keep it on automatic.
That was the old map.
That was the old map? Okay.
That was the old map, yeah.
Well, in that case, we are just going to ignore the map.
What map?
Yeah, what map?
Right. What are you talking about?
So if this actually happens to be only 20% of the total map that we have, and we don't get mounts, this game is gonna take like 20% of our game time will just be running from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think they either want us to use that Azoth for like farm the Azoth and use it to fast travel.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's got to be mounts in this game.
I don't know, man. I hope. I mean, I would like to see mounts, right? And if it's not personal mounts, I'd like to see more of like maybe a caravan style where you get onto something and it takes you to from main town to main town, right? Or maybe it doesn't take you to the fort, but it takes you to the town that's a 20-minute run to the fort, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I would like to see. But I feel like they've been pretty strong on their stance about mounts. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I also can't verify that from them. So
yeah. And like community, as far as I've seen, they are sort of split on the topic of mounts as well. I've seen as many comments rejecting the mounts as the ones that actually do want mounts in the game. I think your idea of a caravan or like a cart, whatever, you pay, I don't know, 100 golds and you hop on back of the cart or whatever, and it just slowly takes you from point A to point B.
Sure.
I think that would be the most fun way of doing it without splitting the community, because you have your mount there, which you don't have to, keep pressing your key or turn on auto run, but keep rotating your character. So you can go sort of AFK while going from point A to point B. But at the same time, you don't have all these horses, tigers, however crazy they want to get, running around all the time either. And our Nightbot just nuked Solus as well. I'm sorry, Solus. Give me 1 second to give you a permit.
I mean, and something that I think that they may be trying to limit are Zergs, right? So, I mean, you're not going to want, a whole group of people to be able to just take over a town, right? And I get it, but I think, I don't know. I just like that aspect of being able to get onto a mount or caravan or whatever it may end up being. I don't know. A griffin.
Flying mounts, I am against. I do not like flying mounts. They never look, I don't know, something about flying mounts always repel me. I have no idea why.
I like flying mounts. I think they're cool.
I personally love flying mounts, but what I don't like is the traveling for traveling's sake. Loved Atlas. I still like Atlas, right? Got a bit nothing to do after a while, but having to travel 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, literally hours, to attack another base, that's ridiculous when I only have so much time to game. That's just insane.
I agree.
Right?
But and I see that mounts will kill a game, right? If you do them wrong,
they could.
Mounts will kill a game.
If you do them wrong, right? Yeah. But if you do them right, that'd be good. But I mean, we got slaughtered. Our whole base got slaughtered one time, right? So we had to save the few ships that survived. And somebody gave us a deal. We'll put you up. We won't, we'll protect your ships for a night, but you got to get over here. So I spent 6 hours sailing this ship. So I was up until 4 a.m. sailing this ship. Because if not, they were going to destroy, well, they did. They destroyed them anyways, right? But I sailed 6 hours to save this ship, and then they were destroyed by the time I woke up. So, but still, 6 hours. It's a game, right? So I'm like, that's a bit much. So to me, you got to balance between reality and gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a little excessive.
Yeah, like if it's going to be that much, because again, even in New World, even the preview event with the map we had, sometimes it just took so much time just running.
It did.
I would open Netflix, I would turn on
Or
auto
life
run,
sticking.
Watching
Life
Netflix,
stick.
and whenever my character got stuck on something, then I would look at my screen. So that's not good. That's not fun. Even if your world is extremely beautiful, as you said, when you have so much time for gaming, say, you got like couple hours of game time every night due to work, family, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes of that couple hours on just running around nonstop.
My days of no-lifing in video games for the moment are over. I've got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. I mean, it is what it is. So when I want to get into a game, I don't want to have to travel for 6 hours and then wake up the next morning and hear on Discord or whatever that everything was destroyed. I would be furious. But it's also a game. You gotta have fun.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Yeah. So even in our chat, so Gress said, please no mounts. And right after that, Warcrime said, a fantasy MMO with no mounts is ridiculous. Durelkak said, flying ruined World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV. Neither I have played, and both have flying. So that's one of the reasons I played neither of them. I don't like flying. Caravan idea does seem to be a good, people seem to like the caravan idea though. So this is from Maven.
It balances.
Yeah, this is from Maven. Hear me out. Caravan that travel through town on a schedule that are like 50% faster than walking. So if one isn't going to be arriving in town anytime soon, it would be faster to walk. Scheduled stuff, that could also be fun, yeah. Now,
it's a bus route.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
One thing another thing about not having mounts and traveling around being this slow is that I'm disregarding at the moment my idea of them really wanting people to use Azoth for fast travel. Because that's my main theory. They want people to use Azoth for fast travel.
So what if you used the Azoth and it was instant?
Isn't it like that? Right.
I haven't used it.
Yeah, I haven't used Azoth to fast travel either. I just used my in.
Oh, it is.
Okay,
it is
so
yeah.
There you go, right? So you pay the Azoth, which is expensive, right? You can make a good money with it, or you spend the gold and get on the bus route, get on the caravan.
Oh yeah,
take the blue route to the next town. I mean, I think that would probably be the best way to go.
I suppose. I mean, the one problem I see with having no mounts or fast travel being as expensive as it is that say you used your Azoth for crafting whatever you spent your Azoth. You weren't very careful with it, and a war got declared, say, on the other edge of the map. Now, to sign up for that war, you have to be in the castle in person, so you could go to the war board and you could sign your name up. Running to that castle can take forever if you don't have a fast travel route there, if you don't have your Azoth. Now,
so why not? Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I don't want to spend 1 hour running to join a war for another hour, Want
to hear my thought on that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there anyway because I'm not going to get picked.
That is
right now.
There you go.
Amazon, wink. We got to do something about that.
So why, to take a step back, why do people not like mounts?
Good question, chat.
In games.
Chat.
What's wrong with mounts?
Why do you not like mounts?
I mean, for instance, Conan for a long time did not have mounts.
You mean Conan Exiles?
Yep. For a long time, it did not have mounts. They finally came out 2 years ago with horses.
I didn't realize they didn't have mounts at first.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I never played Conan Exiles, but isn't that like a massive open world, like Rust-like game where you build bases and things like that. Am I mixing up my games? Yeah,
no, you're right.
That's one.
Yeah, and you kill people, or it's PvE, whatever you want to do, right? But for a while, there was no mounts. Then they added horses, and they just added rhinos with this next expansion.
I don't think people are necessarily against mounts per se, like ground mounts. I wonder if people are more thinking like flying mounts, right? Like, because I do feel like a flying mount has the potential to ruin New World.
Why?
I mean, I guess if it's not balanced correctly, right? So if you have the money dump, right? Because you got to keep your balance of the economy in game, right? Because this is a player-driven economy. If you're able to buy a flying mount, then I think it should obviously cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But without any mounts in game at all at this point, I mean, what is it, 75% of your run boost as opposed to a ground mount at 50? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could see flying mounts, but
flying mounts
I'm just trying
to understand, does it break the immersion? Does it allow too many zergs? Like, I just don't know, right?
So, and that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around, because even in the forums, you hear a lot of people talking about they don't like mounts. I don't get why they don't, but I understand that if you don't do them right, it can ruin that feel. It can ruin that immersion.
I mean, we've had horses, and I mean, the Europeans had horses, right? But North America had them introduced, right? But so Native Americans did not have horses until they were introduced here. But why would there not be mounts? I'm just questioning.
So Maven from chat said, I dislike the idea of mounts because it makes me ignore my surroundings more. I'm guilty of taking the beautiful scenery for granted when I can travel quickly, which I understand. With the lack of mounts during the preview, I was forced to slow down, and I honestly had a lot more fun than I've had in other games with mounts. Now, so Warcrime's response to that was, then don't use a mount, which is actually a very recent argument.
Stop and smell the roses.
Yeah, it's a very recent argument that will bring me back to Ashes of Creation, because it also got mentioned and during From the Ashes about quest breadcrumbs. We talked about it last episode as well, and it comes to the point of so Storms had a different idea to this, but I actually agreed with it. When you have mounts or quest breadcrumbs or things that make a certain aspect of the game go faster or easier, then the balance of it also shifts. So if you, like, from an immersion standpoint, you can say, yeah, don't use them. But if it got added into the game, then it becomes part of the game's overall balance. So you got to be careful whether if you're actually adding it or not, because as you mentioned, when you add mounts to the game, people's response time to PvP will also be increased by a lot, or rather reduced by a lot. Like, someone can be like, oh, I'm in Everfall, there's a group of Syndicate, and within 2 minutes, you have maybe 50 Marauders just launching on the spot with their horses, or whatever
unless they say they all have to have a significant amount of Azeroth set aside, or whatever it is, right? So that is part of this guild. You have to at all times have so much something set aside to do an instant travel.
Yeah.
Right. So that if you have that, then you don't need a mount, which is even faster, because mounts take somewhat time to get there. If you have an instant travel from town to town, then you're traveled, right? So there's all the sorts of balance you have.
And I don't think we're trying to tell people to play handicapped by not using their mount, right? But if you're looking for that immersion and that, I guess, the feel of the game, then don't take your mount. Right?
Well, that, or take a horse. I get the idea of don't allow zebra mounts, or don't allow things that make sense to have mounts, right? Don't have bat mounts. Have horses, right? Have camels. Have things that should be mounts. That I get that one. Now we're in a game with magic, so maybe it's a little different.
True.
But I get the whole idea of with going in for the first couple of years, it was just horses. That's it. And there's and camels, right? So then you have just horses and camels, normal mounts. That I get that that keeps with the immersion. You're in that part of it.
Yeah, and like that's one of
guars.
The things I'm actually sad about with Elder Scrolls Online. The first year of Elder Scrolls Online was super immersive, and now we have these shining, on fire, electrified, cloud demon, tiger cats running around. It's
you got a flying
got
meteor hanging above a city, right? So that's not immersive breaking, right? You got a meteor about to fall on a city, right? So I'm not sure how immersive breaking a mount can be when you have stuff like that, but that's okay. You have giant mushrooms, it's gonna, fall over Morrowind. But you got to think about what is groundbreaking in different sides of magic. So we can kind of discuss that one, but it's all about immersion. What to you is immersive to you. So yeah, to some people, mounts could be immersive breaking. To some, it might not be. It all depends. Now, I do see something flying in supposedly 16th century, even with magic, that's, immersive breaking. Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, except for witches on brooms, we're pretty much not talking about flying in that time.
No
period.
magic carpets.
Yeah, well, okay, so maybe in Aladdin we'll talk about it, but it's,
And another thing is, so flying mount is also a performance issue as well. Mm-hmm. Like when you put the player's camera all the way up top, you will be rendering a massive area compared to everything being blocked by occlusion culling of the mountains, the walls, the height difference of the map. Everything that you are not rendering,
as long as you don't do that,
you will be rendering. And
if you don't put some sort of scope around that whole, you can render everything, absolutely, which will really kill it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
that's
that
part of the
can
problem
also
with Conan is they didn't, because they planned on not having flying mounts. Things when you actually go in there as an admin, you can see part of what they built behind it. They didn't finish things. Right. So if you had flying mounts, you could fly over it and wait a minute, you didn't finish this stuff. So that's.
Why is that area just gray?
What's going on? Why does this rock end here? Right. So, I mean, that's part of the decision when you're designing a game, Mark. You know that, right? There's things you can decide. If you're going to build it with things that are just, 3/4 to save on memory, well, then you can't have something that allows you to see beyond where you want them to see. It's like building a set for a movie. You can't let them see beyond where you want to, or you're breaking what there is.
You don't want them to see the 2x4s on the backside.
Right. You can't see that,
Yeah.
I think mounts will be definitely something that will be discussed until it's addressed by
I think they'll
New
make
World.
it in.
I think they'll put them in.
I think even if they don't make it in at release, eventually I feel like people will be complaining so much about constantly running from point A to point B, because at first it might feel like a good idea, but like 3-4 months into the game's release, and people start spending half their game time just running and running and running and running. Even for those, even for people like Maven who look at it from an immersion point of view, which I am also a huge, immersion is one of the top priorities for me. After that many months of running, even that immersion will slowly fade away, and then you'll be looking at it from a pure gameplay point of view, because you have seen everything that there is to see in the world. At that point, it'll be like, oh god, I'm running again. At least that's how I feel. I'm an impatient person, so I am sort of biased on this. If I have a chance to fast travel, even though I love taking screenshots and I love immersion, I will fast travel. And I will just spend a different couple-hour time frame if I just want to enjoy the world. But if I have the option to fast travel, I can't resist it. I'm impatient. I will do it.
Right, and just human nature alone, right? If you run or take, your mount and get off your mount and you walk that or run that after a few times. I've seen it a million times. I've already taken photos, right? Use your mount.
Yeah.
You're good. Unless they add something to a patch or something like that, right? But aside from that, you've seen it once, you've seen it a million times.
Yeah. I still like the idea of like a fixed caravan routes. Like, okay, if you don't want to, don't allow us to just like whistle, a mount, magically appears, you hop on it, and you are running towards the nearest PvP. Because the game, even if they have changed, their direction, it's still supposed to be a PvP-focused game, right? And having super fast mounts can really put a dent into that, because then you don't have small group, gank-type PvP. For example, 3 of us logged into the game, and our aim for that day is turning our PvP opt-in on, PvP flag on, and we are hiding in the bushes, and we are attacking, I don't know, PvP questers, whatever, something like that. Now, if you have super fast mounts in the game and traveling is easy, they will just type in their faction chat, and within 5 minutes, we will have 20 people riding and coming for us. Now, if traveling is a pain in the butt, maybe 15 of those 20 people will be like, I'll let somebody else go. And instead of 20, we will have 5 people, which then we can engage in like 3 versus 5, 5 versus 5 combat. But when you put in the mounts or make traveling easier, you take that factor out, because people cannot resist easy prey. It is what it is. So when someone types in that there are 3 people in north of Everfall in the bushes, you will have 50 people riding their full speed.
So on that caravan, can you imagine getting into town to go sign up for a war or a battle, and you miss the caravan by like 5 minutes, and you gotta wait another 20 for the other one to come around? Like, oh my gosh. I really like that idea, because then you have travel for your quests and whatever, but at the same time you still can't go gank up on some people very fast, because first you have to travel to city, hop on the caravan, wait for the caravan's time, whatever, then go to the other city, and from that city still run to point B where you are going to engage in PvP. That gives the other team, like the group that people are converging on, enough time to react, escape, get ready for whatever's coming, and things like that. What if they made us stop at town and wait 5 minutes? Right? So the bus had to sit there for 5 minutes.
Well, you just plan your ganking. You plan the timing. I'm going to gank in half hour after. We got to spend 10 minutes here.
See, good. Even that. Creates this extra layer to PvP though. Like, okay, we are gonna make ourselves visible 1 minute after 12, so the caravan is gone, so people can't like hop onto a next caravan for say 15 minutes. So that way we have 15 minutes of a window where we can PvP. Then we have to change locations because people will be coming here in 15 minutes.
No caravan for PvP flagged.
Oh. Yeah, but I mean, they will end up in a... They can turn off their PvP flag on the city they are hopping on, and turn it back on the other city.
Jump out, yeah. I think, that's honestly, people are going to do that anyways. But
that would allow... So if you don't allow people to jump off the caravan, that's going to be weird. I mean, what is the driver is not going to put a gun to your head and you got to wait until we make it to the next town. You can't get off now. So... if you make it so that you can't ride the caravan with your PvP flag on, then it works. Then you don't let people to like jump off halfway to attack someone from the caravan because their PvP flag will be off until the next town. I like that idea.
Yeah, kind of neat, right? I mean, that'd be a pretty cool thing.
So Solus Gaming says the correct faction is Syndicate. I disagree.
I agree, but that's okay.
The only reason I like Marauders is because they remind me of Nords in Elder Scrolls. They're like the barbarians of New World, so I'm like,
but that's okay.
I like them. Oh, yeah, chat, let us know what faction you favor and why, if you will. That might become our next discussion topic on the next episode. We'll see.
I think that's a good one, actually. What group what faction you have or want to do, and why do you want to do it?
Mm-hmm. You can't say color.
I mean,
well, you could. That may not be a good answer, but you can say it.
With the amount of lore we have, color might be an option. Yeah, it's because we don't have too much lore behind these things.
Yeah, if you like purple, yeah.
I mean, I like purple the best out of green, purple, yellow, but I like Marauders more because they are barbarians. I don't know.
Well, because purple is also Stormlords in ESO's Battlegrounds. So, purple's got a whole thing going with it. So, there you go. And they stole that name from me, so that's okay. I'll let them have that one, but that's all right. I had that royalties name first. For that? No, I wish.
Solus is throwing the shade on Marauders. Okay, so Maven has actually a more analytic approach to the Syndicate. I investigated all the outfits available via faction reward and found to enjoy Syndicates the most. Now, I am a huge believer of that. The better fashion you have in the game, the better player you will be. Your damage and everything will go up based on your fashion. So I really like that approach. That
sort of goes against the whole naked hatchet guy, but so I have to balance that one out.
Wait, you mean to tell me being naked isn't the best fashion choice?
It is the best.
The Syndicate
why they are the most powerful.
Choice.
And they're cold, so they're purple. So. Alrighty then.
Did any of you get into? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Ark.
No, I was gonna say we are about to hit the hour mark. Now I'm used to hosting Tales, so I can go on for like 3-hour shows. But I should keep in mind that at least for the moment, we are trying to keep this condensed to 1 hour. Do remind me if you found me going off track, because I will talk for 3 hours. You gotta stop me at
That's points. All right. We'll shut it down in an hour. So okay.
Yeah, we'll shut it down.
We'll let you know.
I'll keep my note for next episode.
No, I mean we still have like a bit of time. So while you were gonna say something.
So I was gonna talk about crafting. Right. So did either of you really get into the crafting side of things? I mean, it felt like I loved it.
I was crafting food as much as I can, but I didn't get into equipment crafting. I was just eating a bunch of food so that I would have like 15 buffs on me. Other than that, I didn't do much. I'm really not a crafter person when it comes to MMORPGs.
I enjoy the crafting aspect of it. And then, the selling, the merchant side as well. You can get into owning a home, right? And then you have to craft your table, your chairs, the bed, all that stuff, right? And you sell it on the market and make your money. But I thought the crafting mechanics were done very, very well. I really liked them. Mm-hmm.
So let's keep this topic for another episode, because we have more than 5 minutes to talk on that one.
It's a big one.
I think we should join that with houses, is what they have.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, put those two together for like the next episode, because I think there's a lot to say about both of those. Even though I didn't spend a lot of time crafting, because it was a limited preview, I'll probably do the same thing the next time, but I'll do a little more crafting. I wasn't focused on crafting. I was focused on this character was going to disappear in 5-10 days, so I had to focus on what can I do, what did I need to do. So I was buying stuff off the store day one, right? I was just getting stuff that way, right?
Especially like, bullets and arrows.
Why bother, right? Yeah, that's it. That's all I was doing. Let's just do it that way, do it that way, do it that way, and working through.
I was just crushing wood and just selling it on the marketplace, making tons of gold.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to talk about that on the next episode, the crafting and the housing. I think that was the only other time that I've ever had a game with that type of housing was Star Wars Galaxies.
ESO has that type of housing.
That's been a while.
The instanced housing.
Really?
Yeah. It's all instanced.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't think at this point any game, any MMORPG or even single player games will outmatch or whatever, basically be better than Elder Scrolls Online's housing, at least in the beginning. It's just way too complex. They basically give you a full 3D editor and you do whatever you want.
Yeah, but there wasn't any way to begin with, right? So it took some time for them to get there.
Yeah. That's why I was like, at the beginning, I mean, they can grow on it for sure, but even at the beginning of ESO's housing, you still had the full, it still allowed you to place anything individually in any rotation or position. So,
did you see the new one with the ice lake? The new,
the most recent house,
right?
Yeah.
You could put stuff under the lake and you can still see it.
Really?
It's awesome. That's why I bought it. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
That is cool. That is cool.
I can still see it. Anyways, different game, but anyways.
Yeah, we'll go more in depth about it.
Things like that I like about housing. When I go into a housing or a game and I can find things I can do that they weren't expecting or I didn't think somebody else thought. I'm like, oh, can I do this? I want to try that.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's what makes it different.
Yeah. So, Solus... Wait, was it Solus? Alright, Solus asked, do you all think this is a test game to set up Lord of the Rings Online? Which only got mentioned, but then we never heard anything about it ever again. I think...
So on Amazon's Discord,
there
is a chapter for Lord of the Rings. There is not a lot of chatter on it, but they do have a section for that.
Oh man!
I don't think it's a test game for it.
I don't think. Think of it this way: this is their first game. They can't let this fail, right?
I think my
they'll
theory
knock this
is
out
that,
of the park and knock that out of the park.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think initially New World, at least it's my theory. Initially, it started developing to showcase Lumberyard Engine, but then it became too big. And they were like, you know what? We are gonna make this a full-fledged MMO. I think that's how it went. I actually think
that's what happened. Absolutely. Some VP said, "Wait a minute, this is looking really good. Let's champion this and make it a real game."
And
I agree. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And I definitely think they're going to keep Lord of the Rings, but it's going to take time. That was just introduced 2 years ago? The concept of it, right? Maybe.
I think
that's going to take at least 6 years to build.
Oh yeah.
So you've got 3 or 4 years going to get that going.
Quick question: is any one of you tapping the desk or something like that?
Yeah, I was tapping a little bit.
Okay, your microphone is picking that up. All right, we found the. All right, I've been trying
a bad
to.
Habit.
Yeah, I've been trying to find out what. It's so strange how easy these spider arms can pick up anything from the desk. It's strange, but okay. Now that we identified it, it's not an issue. Right. With the last few minutes we have, one quick thing I want to mention. So I've seen on Twitter at least that this is sort of a confusion point. There will, according to the latest article they shared after the preview event, there will be a test phase in November. But this was asked a lot. It's not certain yet who can participate, whether if it's going to be under NDA, whether if it's going to be open to everyone like the preview event, or if it's going to be a select group of people testing it. So we don't have any information on that. They said stay tuned for all those information, which I'm hoping to hear before our next episode, which is most likely going to be in 2 weeks. Because at the moment, since we don't have too much information, we decided to do this bi-weekly, unless we get some news that we can talk about, and then we can just do a show. But yeah, so this is going to be from now on live. at twitch.tv/Dungeon Network as our live audience is joining us. And you can find it on YouTube, youtube.com/Dungeon Network, or at the moment on Spotify and iTunes, but hopefully within this week, it's going to be on, Google Podcasts, Stitchers, Player FM, whatever podcatcher you are using. Hopefully it's going to be on those. So, Storms, where can people find you? And your final thoughts on the show?
Well, one, the show is awesome. It's going to be a great show. I think we're going to do this every other week until we start playing the game again. I think it's going to be great. You can find me at Dungeon Crawler Network Discord, and you can find me at Twitter, Stormlords. That's it. I
just realized, did I type your name wrong on the stream? I typed Stormslord, not Stormlords.
It is Storm_Lord on Twitter. No.
Where is the Z?
I'll send it to you.
Is the Z between Storm and Lord or at the end?
It's between Storm and Lord.
Oh, okay. There you go. I typed it right.
And you realize the whole thing is because I couldn't fit Stormageddon, Lord of All, when I started joining DSO.
There you go.
If you all know Doctor Who, you'll know why, but that's okay. That's a different story altogether. If you don't know Doctor Who, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So go ahead.
Sivian, what about you?
You can find me over at Discord at the Dungeon Crawler Network, as well as on Twitch. I do stream from time to time at Sivian21.
There you go. So, I'm Arcanier. You can find me anywhere that is Arcanier, ARKHANIIR. It's a made-up name, so if you see it, it should be me. And you can follow everything we do over at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, including Twitch, YouTube, all of our Twitter accounts for the other shows we do, as well as the information on the other shows we do. We have a bunch of podcasts, and this is the most recent one. Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork if you want to help support the show, keep things going as it is, and keep the quantity of the shows rolling so that I can make this full-time. You can also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. As I said, the show is now on iTunes. You can leave a review, and it helps us a lot. It helps people know that we are a real podcast, that we say real words, and sometimes they matter. Thank you all so much for joining on this episode of the New World Compendium. And we will see you all maybe next week if you get news. If not, the other week. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks all.